Star Trek Discovery Mission Report. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve. So, episode 4. This was the episode where I really felt like, episodes 1, 2, and 3 were good, and I thought they got a little bit better every time. And this last episode, just really cemented it for me, where I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
It's so good, so good, so good.
And all that story build up.
The story build up, and things are starting to play out, a little bit more, and the characters are getting to be known a little bit more, and they're fleshing into that piece of it a little bit. Yeah, man, it's still, the story's still strong. The effects, of course, this is just a gorgeous backdrop, and the effects and everything is just, it looks beyond perfect.
Keep it that way.
Keep it that way. And I know we've talked about it last week, but, if they're not going to get the ratings or what have you, Mike can, it would just suck to see those effects go downhill and the production values drop. But, who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully, people will subscribe.
Right. They haven't confirmed a season 2 yet. This is a whole new way of telling, I guess, how many people are watching. Right. It's only DVR numbers, right, and subscriptions.
Yeah.
So sadly, if you're out there and you're getting it for free, good on you. But the numbers wise, it's gonna.
It's not gonna help the show.
I know.
And they do look at the pirating and all that stuff, but you can't quantify a show's existence financially.
Yeah.
From something that is just popular because it's pirated.
Right.
If Game of Thrones was only pirated and no one watched it on HBO, that show's not going to last long.
Right.
Because it just doesn't have the financial piece that it needs.
And I get it. I'm totally for people who share a CBS All Access or whatever.
Sure.
It's just number wise, it sucks. It's a bad side effect of saving some money. Because I get it. It's expensive. It was not easy for me to sign up for the All Access at first, but they do have movies, so that does help. But yeah, season 2 still hasn't been announced. And I also read somewhere, I didn't read much into it, but possibly if there is a 2, it might be a delay for a while.
Right.
So, I'm thinking it's either good because those actors on there are, some of them are pretty big actors.
Yeah.
So they can do a movie or so and take some time off. Or I don't know if maybe they'll just go with the new crew. Maybe we'll be having these different sets of characters, which is fine too. It helps really build the universe, and we can go into a different time period. We can go into after TNG. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Admiral Picard come over or something. I don't know. It's I do like the actors. I think I think they're a lot more comfortable in their skin. Anthony Rapp, I kind of complained about last show. I like the actor. I love him. I'm a big Rent fan, and he's famous from that, and he was a child actor. But I thought he was a little rusty the last show. But as the show went on, episode 3 went on, you got to know more of his character.
Right.
I understood, and I think he did a great job. It's just, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't expecting that first part, because he was really, coming off as a dick.
Oh, sure.
He's just annoyed. But then he explained why he's annoyed, and I think he really got to shine in this episode, and some memorable moments happened with him and his face.
Yeah, and, exactly. Yeah, and this show saw kind of the culmination of the warp effect that they're trying to get across.
Yes.
So this is kind of the big reveal on what this magic space dust, I can't remember what they're calling it.
Spores.
Spores. That's
spore
right.
drive.
Yeah, spore drive. So basically, they've come to the conclusion on how that works. Mm-hmm. And got it to be successful. And they used the creature that was in the episode 3.
Yep.
Right. That we saw
everyone.
Killing,
on the Glen.
Tearing through, just made a lot of mess. And
never thought this creature was really going to get this type of attention. No. Never thought he had a purpose.
Yeah.
Just like a killing machine. And I guess we didn't really know where he came from.
Right. And I didn't think that, when the captain kept him all locked up and stuff, I just thought that, there's probably a few episodes from now this might come back and, we'll see what's going on with this creature and, it'll probably get loose at some point and, everybody's going to go crazy. Well,
yeah.
They sure use that creature for a lot more, so, spoilers, of course, we're, the creature is used, it has kind of a symbiotic relationship with these spores, and they use this creature in conjunction with the spore is to be able to transmat, themselves to other places.
Right.
So it's basically like almost a teleportation effect where they can just appear, poof, at some location automatically. And the usage of that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
The first one was a miss.
Big miss. Was that a sun or a star?
It was a sun.
Man.
And
that felt hot.
Yeah. They were pretty close to getting sucked into the sun there. And so, whoopsie.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was quick.
And then, they corrected it up, and then they did their big rescue for this colony, and it was pretty cool. But one thing that was hard to watch was when they use what I'm calling warp dog, but this creature, when they're using it, it is obviously putting this creature through pain.
Yeah.
And so you're watching this creature suffer. So our quote unquote good guys can get to where they want to go.
Exactly.
And see, without anything being said, Michael having some internal conflict with what's happening.
Yep.
Especially towards the end of the episode, and so that's going to come to roost at some point. So they're doing a really nice job of, kind of giving you plot lines coming up and, kind of threading out what some of these stories might start to look like and different avenues that they're going to take.
And they'll turn on a dime from what we've gotten so far. Like, when we saw that cliffhanger to 3 with the creature in its cell or containment, I had my suspicions about the captain.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any suspicions anymore. He just simply, he wanted to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
And that's his weapon room. And so, Michael got introduced to that, of course. Right. And I think the security chief got a little jealous and decided to, embrace the red shirt effect. And, let's lower the shields.
Yeah, take down the containment field.
Let me just piss it off to death, and then it'll be a weapon for us. Man, I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. That thing tore into her and just instantly killed her.
Yeah, mauled her.
Yeah. And Michael realized that this thing was defending itself. It wasn't being a proactive killer by any way, by any stretch of the imagination.
She's actually doing the science piece.
Right.
What a Vulcan would do.
Yeah.
She was
tasked to weaponize it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the security chief got impatient, and is that after? I think that was after the first warp attempt, right? Because they didn't have the creature navigate the first time.
I think so, right? Yeah, it was after the first attempt, and then that was before the creature would navigate.
So I got the urgency, like we gotta get this thing ready, but at the same time, it's like she's kind of on a breakthrough here. You might want to just
ego stepped in.
Like,
as
why
opposed
did
to
you turn
logic?
that off? The shield, like. I liked her too.
Yeah, she was cool.
I mean, we got enough out of her, but I think so far it's they need to slow down a little bit with the characters,
right?
Because unless they're going to keep introducing new characters, which they did on the bridge this time.
Yeah.
We got to see it in action. What'd you think of the simulator sequence?
Yes, that was
bridge?
actually really sweet. So I mean, it reminded you of the Kobayashi Maru, from Star Trek II. And then, of course, they did it in the JJ Star Trek.
Yes.
So I mean, it was just it was cool. You felt like it was happening, and it was just kind of it shows you what today's technology can do, with the show. But yeah, that was pretty sweet. And the captain, he's a great actor. Mm-hmm. It's a good character.
Sure.
But I'm not sure if we're supposed to like him or not.
Yeah, because he's a war captain.
He's a military guy.
Right.
This is a guy who gives zero craps about anything other than the cause. Mm-hmm. And whatever has to happen to get to that end result is what will happen. And so from an ethic perspective, from what Starfleet's typically known for, he does not fit that mold in any way, shape, or form. Right. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out continued, I
wonder if they played off that idea of having a captain like this from Star Trek Beyond, where we had Idris Elba. He basically went rogue. I think their ship got abandoned, and so he just felt Starfleet turned on them, and then his mission was to destroy Starfleet or try to. But he was a military captain, so in peacetime, it's like he couldn't function. They gave him a ship, but he just wasn't used to just exploring.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm sure this war will go on for a while, but it'll be interesting to see if it ever goes away. will he even be able to stay on the ship and function and explore things? Maybe we shouldn't see them explore too much because save it for Star Trek.
Right.
So that's interesting how they're going to... I'm sure the war will go on for a while.
Like. I mean, it's at least this season. Sure. We'll see what happens beyond that. But, yeah, the war with the Klingons is something that you better settle in for because it will last all season long, this arc, for sure. I mean,
it's big to the lore of Star Trek, so it should last a good chunk of time, maybe a couple seasons. I don't know. I guess they could do one season. War is war, so even if it doesn't last for years, it still has an impact. And do we want to, you and I, talk about how maybe the show could save some money?
Yeah, I think we should probably touch on that just a hair.
Yeah. Look, I you and I are big Star Trek fans, and my goal with doing the show is not to just entirely, forgive my French, but blow the show.
Right.
I think it has some mistakes.
Right.
Needs some improvements. Now, if you go back to all these other shows, especially your DS9, Odo pilot episode, he looks very different.
Right.
And they adjusted his makeup. So fast forward to now. I'm finally ready to say I'm not really digging the Klingon look.
Right.
I think it's too much. It's too much of an overhaul.
Yeah.
Of honestly, just I think it also has the language going against it.
It sure does.
Yeah, it's just I get it. I think that's great, but it's like, you know what? It's time to turn on the universal translator.
Right.
Let's just hear some English because I can't watch them and read at the same time. And they go a little fast,
They go fast and they all sound like they just have their wisdom teeth pulled.
Right.
And it's not like we've seen in the past with, I don't want to be that guy that's like, well, before we did it like this, because it's cool to change things up. And I do like that.
Yeah.
And like you said, you and I are pretty big fanboys of Star Trek, but
it's hard to admit anything.
It's hard to admit
right.
it, but you know what? It's true though, and
so it just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah. I think the wardrobe of the Klingons looks pretty sweet. It's a cool little difference, and some of their ships look cool, but I wanted to like the new look of like the species themselves, but
it's too much of a distraction.
It's a distraction, and when the makeup is so thick that it sounds like you have cotton in the back of your mouth for every character. I mean, it's
got to be hard to omit as an actor when you're in all that. And that makeup's got to take, go back. Well, first off, in my opinion, I think they perfected the Klingon look, when we got to the Michael Dorn, and, the Star Trek Beyond was an interesting take. And it seems like they've kind of gone off that and they made it a lot more alien. But to me, it's almost like they're not Klingons anymore. They're a new species because just looking at their faces, they just don't. And the makeup's so thick that it sometimes seems the face isn't lining up with their eyes. Right. And it's
it's hard to emote.
Yeah.
Whereas with Michael Dorn, he had the shattered cranial exoskeleton of the tricipital lobe.
There you go.
But, basically the lower half of his face, you could see his facial reaction is, was he happy? Was he pissed? Was he, just being Worf, and you could see all that stuff. Whereas with now, they all look kind of the same, and then their mouths kind of move a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to know who's who.
Right.
You definitely know the albino guy.
Right.
I also get distracted by the one girl, the main chick, which looks like they're going to have a romance, possibly, like a violent romance.
Right.
She almost looks pretty good in the face. I don't know if they all have contacts in too. They're all blue-eyed, which I'm like, I get it. Back in the TNG days, they could only do so much. But it's like if you perfected that as much as you can, I wouldn't really tinker with that too much.
Right.
Look at Michael Dorn, like we were just talking about. Budget-wise, it's got to be much cheaper to do it that way.
Right.
Wig, forehead, nose.
And you're going to get more out of your actors because they're going to be able to shine more.
There's no way Michael Dorn could do any of this stuff. No. Oh my gosh.
No.
You would not get any performance like that. So
no.
My only solution is I just hope there's a way they can, I don't know.
It's like Keaton in the first Bat suit.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a prisoner in it.
Yeah.
He couldn't move his head, and so, and that's kind of what's happening here. I question whether there are actually people inside this Klingon makeup, just because it's so bland from an acting perspective.
Exactly.
I mean,
and it's got to be so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Full head makeup. I don't like their fingers either.
No,
they're very sharp, and I get it. Michael Dorn, got to show a lot of his own skin and stuff. I get it, and I get people want to see something really spectacular, but it's like I just think they deviated so much from the design. Right. It's like
it's become a distraction a little bit.
Yeah, it has.
Because in episode 4, what in my opinion was my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Still has that distraction a little bit of the Klingon piece, and I'm like you. I'm having a hard time watching the subtitles because I'm so busy just being distracted by the makeup.
Yeah, or it's the other way around. Like, you're like, oh, this scene's not bad. Like the first episode is kind of hard for me to watch because there's so much reading, and that sucks. I don't like to, and I know some people are like, well, just go with it, and I get the art form. I think that's great, but I just think there's so much to focus on.
Oh, tons.
It's exhausting to watch them, but I do like their storyline itself. I am interested in what they're going through.
Right.
It's just the makeup is really my biggest complaint. And I'm not trying to be a purist like we were talking about.
Right.
They should look like this, but I think it helps so much. Like, you'd have more money to put towards special effects.
Yeah.
And you get more out of your actors.
Less distraction.
Yeah. It's like, just pull the little English trick. Because, I mean, gosh, how many species are we going to see in this show? And the other confusion is Star Trek Enterprise, the Klingons looked like we've come to know them.
Right.
And this one, I get what they were doing. They're trying to put a little new twist on it. And, like, some of the Klingons look pretty good. The main dude in this episode who basically betrayed the albino Klingon, Cole, I don't know. I think that's his name. He was pretty good and intimidating.
Right.
But again, some of them just, like, the albino Klingon makeup, it just looks, remember, have you ever seen Mask?
Yeah.
With Edward Stoltz.
Oh, yeah.
Edward Stoltz in The Mask. He had that big face, which I get it because that's an actual real disease. Eric Stoltz. That's what I say.
Edward.
Yeah. That's his brother.
Yeah, it's his older brother. Yeah, I like Edward.
He's
I like him better than Eric,
actor,
actually. So no.
He's on a off Broadway play. That's what they kind of remind me of.
Yeah.
Like, just like big makeup, and they can only do so much, and it does distract. But I do like their story. They got that right.
Oh, absolutely.
I like where it's going with that, and oh my gosh, I mean,
the good outweighs that negative by far. But at the same time,
I'm not going to stop watching over it.
No, not at all. But it is one area where I feel like if you want to go from great to spectacular, that could be something to consider.
It might be easier for people watching to relate to. Like, I think they're too alien. You know what I mean?
Right.
And in some of these scenes, I just pictured like, man, just like a regular Klingon looking dude. I was like, this would look so good.
Yeah.
And you can still have the spacesuit they wear. You can still have all that garb. It's just so much. It's so much to take in. The ships are a little different. The lighting's a little dark with them. The new clothing, and on top of that, a new look. It's just like too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We do have the Klingon symbol still, so that's good. Like, they kept that stuff, but I think that they're gonna have to fix that. I really strongly believe now they can do it. Like, they can do it through writing, or just not address the change,
right? Or just dial it back a little bit,
Yeah,
and I don't care either way. They can explain it. They can just dial it back. Either way is fine for me. I just, I don't know, man. It's that's a tough thing to stay awake for when the Klingons start talking.
I know.
Because all I want to do is coach them on enunciation.
Well, it's almost like, and thankfully for this show, I watch it 2 or 3 times. I try to, and so eventually I know what the story is, so I can just not read and watch their actions. I like their actions. I like what I'm seeing. I just don't. It's just the makeup. I like, let's change that up a little bit. Let's have a radiation leak, and it just spreads to all the whole race, and they all look like we come to know them. Aside from all that, I'm not trying to get all negative, but I love the show. Don't get me wrong.
Same here.
I love the show. And I think it takes a lot for someone to admit it's not perfect. There's some things that could be improved. But going into the whole Klingon side of the show, that was terribly brutal what they did to Captain Giorgio.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming because we talked last week. I saw on IMDb she had 14 episodes.
Yeah.
And that might not be right in this case, definitely now, but they ate her corpse.
Yeah.
Like, they described some of it.
Yeah.
He took the flesh off her face. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Savages.
So, I mean,
and that stuff's fine, but
yeah, I mean, I was holding out some hope because we saw her get stabbed and stuff.
I know.
But did we see her die?
Because she stayed on the ship.
Yeah.
They could have brought her back. I thought they were going to Winter Soldier her,
Right.
She'd come back as a Kung Fu
something,
Starfleet guy or girl, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, that was
and part of me hopes we don't get the Jor-El treatment. As nothing but holograms from her for 14 episodes.
And it's possible because
it is possible. I mean,
holograms.
When she had the will, and all that stuff, it was hologram based, and we got to see her in a new scene and all that, which is great. What a wonderful actress, But yeah, I don't want to do the hologram.
Yeah.
Conversations all the time.
Well, and quickly, I guess we didn't really leave the Klingon subject because we were talking about what they did.
Right, yeah.
I like the fact that they were still in that graveyard-like area where we began. Yep. And the Shinzu is still out there, adrift. Yeah. And they had to go over there to get the dilithium drive. They had to get that. Right. Because their ship's crippled pretty much, and they're starving, which is probably another reason why they ate the captain, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Hope they weren't complete savages, but
a little salt too helps.
Yeah,
with, anytime you
and ketchup.
Yeah, ketchup.
I like their transport technology. That was cool. It's like it looked like a flat beam, and then it materialized forward. That was interesting, and it was red, like we've seen before. So I like that stuff. I think that's great.
Oh yeah.
I like the romance that the albino Klingon, and I should know his name, but I'm sorry. It's like these names are tough too because I don't hear him in English. Right. I'm sorry. I'm
so distracted from watching this guy just kind of move around while he's talking.
Yeah. Again, that's maybe once we get more interaction with Discovery as they battle each other, maybe they'll speak more English because the main dude did that the second episode when the admiral's like, hey, let's have a chat, and he's like, okay, we'll be right over. Here's a missile. I liked all that, going back to the Shinzu, and then him being double crossed by that one guy who beamed over to the Klingon ship. He fed the whole crew his rations and got them to turn on him because you feed a hungry army, they're going to be for you.
They're going to be on your side.
And then the chick you thought was, oh man, what a bitch.
Yeah, and they all look like they should be Klingons working at Hot Topic. Just the way they act,
Yeah.
All emo.
At a feast
Klingons and
Yeah. I did enjoy where it seemed like they basically banished they were going to kill him, the albino Klingon. They were going to kill him. Instead they the female Klingon got the guy to consider sending him back to the Shinzu.
Yep.
So, it looks like things are not going to end well for this Klingon. He's just in that ship, and he sees the Klingon ship warp out.
Right.
And then she materializes behind him, and his first instinct was not to hug her.
Right.
Grabbed her by the throat, which is a Klingon thing. And any time now, I think they are good at conveying that. There is so much sexual attention between them. Like, you were like, you know what? If they start going for it, like, hey, I'm not going to have a problem. But they look like they could do that in a heartbeat.
Right, they're building that up pretty easily.
Animals, So she brought, what did she bring back? Didn't she bring him something when she materialized? She brought something for him. I forgot what it was.
Didn't she have the drive?
Yeah, maybe she did.
I thought she did.
Maybe that's what it was, because otherwise they're not going anywhere on that ship. There's no way. But I do like that idea of them using that Starfleet ship.
Right.
So we'll get the Shinzu back.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see that, probably in a Defiant versus Enterprise type fight, with Discovery and the Shinzu. Right. So,
and will they share the same hatred? Well, they probably will, because that dude initiated it. His leader initiated it, and so I don't know. It'll be interesting. Well, the guy who, double-crossed him basically said, like, oh yeah, this war will unite the houses, but then after the war, we're going to go our separate ways. Right. So he's not 100% committed to the cause.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. It was there's some really cool concepts. And again, the story piece of it is great. You know, I think we fix the Klingons up just a hair, and you know, that distraction will look less messy. But
gosh, it's got to cut down on the budget. Just cut the budget. Hands, cut that. You know, honestly, I like the holograms, but I'm okay with view screens.
Right.
Let's go back to that. Here. I'm okay with it.
Either way is fine. You know, but
I just don't want them to be all fancy walking around like the Admiral did in that second episode. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, my hologram's just going to walk around. It's going to actually use your bathroom on Discovery if you don't mind.
Right. Yeah. It was such a stretch, I thought, you know, and it's like, also, man, it's Star Wars technology. Let's not use that stuff.
Right.
But I get it. You know, a lot of people out there, that's been a complaint. Oh, this technology is way too advanced. Right. It's like, okay, as much as I would love them to embrace the 60s look, after a couple episodes, that nostalgia is going to rub off. Right. And you're going to be like, this is boring.
Yeah.
You want to see bright lights and screens because that's what we're addicted to now with our smartphones.
Right. And I don't mind that kind of upgrade in technology and all the changes and shifts that they're doing there.
There's no holodecks. That's too much. Let's not do a holodeck.
Yeah, if I have to see a Shakespearean episode on a holodeck, I will easily probably not show up for that episode of Mission Report. So that way,
would you be pissed if Q showed up? That would be really great, but you know,
I don't know if I'd be pissed or not. I think it would depend on how they use him.
Yeah,
but
that would ruin the canon because he was brand new. He didn't know of humanity until.
True, but is he powerful enough to time travel?
Or does time even exist with him?
For him.
It's true.
So, you know, I mean, it could be an interesting plot device to, you know, kind of help bridge the whole universe together somehow. But I could also see him being used horribly wrong. I don't know.
You know, what just came to my mind, as much as I'd love to have past people guest star on the show, and eventually maybe they will, but maybe they obviously probably won't be able to be who they were. But you know how X-Files has come back? Like, man, if Discovery is so successful, maybe they could have some nostalgia shows, you know, like TNG Revisited. Yeah. They just give us like 4 to 10 episodes and just where they're at now and have a little story. Right. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even do Old Sulu in the Excelsior.
That'd be awesome.
Which, that was a robbery. They should have given him a show or a movie. That was a mistake.
Something.
But, you know, I love Discovery and I like what they're doing. I just hope we can get back to that 90s setup where we had like all this material.
Yeah.
It was great, you know, and I think now if you tell it this way, you can keep it fresh all the time and serialize it. Yeah. Don't do episodic necessarily, or do both. And I mean, the old episodes had arcs themselves.
Right. But you know, I mean, especially in Deep Space Nine and Voyager to a degree, they still followed an underlying plot.
Right.
You know, and then...
But less episodes, the less filler ones you get, and which is... I just like a great, complete story, start to finish, or separate episodes, you know, like the Marvel Netflix series, you know, all of those. I like just how, you know... I mean, Defenders had 9 episodes. Like, I'm okay with it as long as it's good.
Right.
It's an hour each or so. That's awesome.
The only ones that I really just got into when they went off the subject completely were the Dr. Bashir and Garrick episodes.
Yeah.
The relationship between those two, and, you know, he was just one of the coolest Cardassians, and just the acting was so brilliant. And my daughter, you know, not a huge Trek fan, loves Deep Space Nine because of Bashir and Garrick. That whole dynamic between them.
Right.
Any episode with those two, you know, it's like watching a Stewie episode for me on Family Guy.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta see that.
That was a great concept. Yeah. They're all they're basically living in a mall, you know, of different alien cultures, and adventure.
He's a tailor.
Ensues. Yeah. Who has this like huge war background.
He's a total spy.
That. Yeah.
And the way they play off of each other and like each other as deeply as friends, and still don't trust each other at the same time. It's just hilarious to watch that interplay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd watch a Garrick show.
Yeah, there you go.
TV show. I would.
Just him in his living room, good. You know, watching the box set of
that's just
Who or something.
I could watch him just reading the phone book.
Yeah.
You know, silently.
Right.
That's how much I like the actor.
I want old Data, who's a professor.
Right.
And, he's just smoking a pipe with his fake gray hair. And
yeah.
But speaking of these characters who form friendships, get back to Discovery.
Right.
I think Michael and the scientist played by Anthony Rapp, and forgive me, I don't remember his character's name. I'll do better with that going forward. I'll try to.
Yeah, same here. I need to write him down. And
they seem like they're becoming friends.
Right.
Because when she conveys, like, this creature could help us, he takes a chance with her. Because she, first had to explain and show evidence. It wasn't like a 100% trust thing, but they beamed the creature into the spores, where they raised the spores, and it started communicating. And he just had that nice casual, like, he had a defense going with the phaser. And then the minute she was scanning the creature and said, oh, it's communicating. And he just a nice touch. He just puts the phaser down, walks forward, and he goes, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to them.
Right.
I like that. And I think that's where he won me over, even though his backstory did too in the last episode.
Sure.
We got to meet the doctor of the ship, who I think is his boyfriend on the show. So the first gay couple. So that would be a big thing. And I don't know. I'm sure they're not going to address it like they're gay. Get it?
Right.
I think they're doing it just right.
Yeah.
They both have that banter back and forth about, oh, you should care.
And you treat them as a normal couple. You know what I mean? They're not.
Don't exploit it.
Right. They don't exploit it in a weird way. It should look and just be natural.
Yes.
And they're treating it like that so far. So that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I only know they're a couple from reading the synopsis and all that stuff from the episode or the show entirely.
Yeah.
But I just like when, Anthony Rapp, I think that after that first warp, he got his face pounded badly. And that was cool to see the, whatever device the doctor was using was fixing his face. And they started going into a couple banter. Yeah. But, you'd only I only picked up on it because I knew they were a couple. But he was saying, if it was 1 inch closer, it would have knocked out your feelings and all that. And it's important to have feelings. And who knows? Maybe they're not a couple yet. I don't know. Yeah. I could be building towards something. But yeah, I dug all the sickbay stuff. I like the doctors in the white uniforms, even though that doesn't make it really any sense because blood.
But it's you know who you're dealing with. And it's easily recognizable. So
yeah. Do you like the emergency transport device?
Yeah, actually, I do.
I mean, it's probably a little stretch compared to the old series, but we're already there, though, with holograms. Right. We're already stretching it.
We've already advanced the technology way beyond what the original Enterprise ever had. And, I mean, really stretching it.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. We've had a lot of distance and time. Let's...
We're in 2017. Right. We have to see that stuff.
Let's have some fun with it,
I mean, it'd be great to see the old, the old equipment, but...
Right. Part of me, though, would love to see some weird explanation on just how did some of this happen and,
drain the power maybe too much or... Yeah.
Something.
I kind of want that, too. But yeah, it might be a little stretch. I don't know. We'll hopefully get there.
Right.
But
we'll see.
As long as they don't push it too far. Like I said, no holodecks. We don't need any of that stuff. I know Enterprise did one episode where they visited like an alien race who had a holodeck. And I'm like, okay, that's okay, I guess. But no, let's not do that. But yeah, I'm really digging it. This episode was incredible, especially, what caught me off guard entirely because I love the ship already.
Yeah.
Saucer started spinning. What the heck? I didn't see that coming.
It looked sweet.
I was like, wait a minute. What are we doing?
Yeah. That ship is amazing.
I mean, that's what's been incredible about these episodes. There's always been a whoa or wow factor, and that was one of them for this. I was just like, I was not expecting that.
And the technical design, too, is it's off the charts.
It's a beautiful ship.
Yeah.
They had so much time to craft it. Its concept stage was a little different. And, my only question is, people who have quarters in that saucer, are they not enjoying the ride?
Right. Or is it just like a moving restaurant? You can't really tell.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
You know what's happening, but you can't feel it.
I like how it warps, though. It's got 2 warp drives, from what I understand. It's got the spore drive and then the regular.
Yeah.
And so when it does the spore drive, it spins.
Yeah.
And then I think it levels out for a split second and then boom.
Done.
Yeah.
And there they are. And when it did appear like that and to save the day, I mean, that was just sweet.
That was really cool.
Totally sweet.
Because we got a classic Star Trek piece where there's a distress call. We got to go rescue these people. Yeah. And I like Captain Lorca. I think that's his name, right? Lorca.
Yeah.
I like what he did. He got people to push everything.
Yeah.
He played the audio throughout the ship.
Oh, man.
Which is a dick move, but it encouraged people like, oh, we got to get these people. And almost everybody looked like they're about ready to cry. You know?
Yeah, he's a motivator through fear a little bit and through, you know, some intimidation here and there. But, yeah, that was a really great moment. And, I don't know. I think as far as it spinning and stuff, I think the inertia dampening fields, no problem.
Again,
Trek.
Cut the Klingon makeup down. We can keep having this spins. And I'm just afraid, like, hey, it doesn't work anymore.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We don't ever see it again because we've had to cut the budget, you know, by $82 billion an episode.
But I love the bridge. I love the feel of the battle. And I think like JJ or not, I like him. I think he brought some new things to Star Trek that, you know, really helped you feel like they're in this big ship. Because you kind of never had that. Right. We're talking like the exterior shots where you can actually see people like walking around. Oh, yeah. And I like that whole screen setup. Right. But when they're in battle, they're in it. Oh, like you feel like you're there. And we got to meet the crew a little bit more, like no names, but we saw the chick who was on the Shinzu who has the cybernetic thing. Right. Yeah. Got to see her in action. I think she's a helmsman. And Saru, he's I like how Michael tricked him. And because she was doing her little research on the creature. Yeah. Because she's like, is this creature really, you know, harmful? Like he's just protecting itself. So let me get Saru down here. I'm going to not really mean what I say to him. I'm going to say, hey, I'm apologizing.
To see how he reacts. Yes. Around the, you know.
His detection, whatever they're called.
The spikes on the back of his head or whatever. I mean, you know, they kind of, it's like the back of your hair standing up when you are, you know, nervous about something. That's a good catch. Yeah, it's the same kind of a deal. And
it's like an instinct, animal instinct.
Yeah, and his instinct didn't kick in. So, which proved that the animal's intention is not hostile. To kill.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what his race, you know, they get that premonition. Yeah, he didn't get it.
I was, until he came down, you know, when Michael decided to finally, you know, let the shield go, but not shoot at it. Yeah. Or send like a mist in there. Right. She brought spores with her, and does it feed off the spores too, or just?
It seems to me like it feeds off the spores a little bit, and communicates. Yeah, it's like
I'm going to eat you now.
Right, that's what it seemed like to me, and you know, we might be wrong, but you know, it felt like giving a dog a treat.
Right. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Warp Dog got a treat.
Warp Dog. Telling you that's going to catch on.
I hope it catches on. I hope no one else is taking it from me.
Yeah, right. What do they call it right now on the show? It's like Rapture or
I don't know.
Something like that.
She's
Ripper? Like, Ripper, there you go. Because she told, after the scientists and her saw what the creature was doing, they're like, I think we found a new navigator. Because that's the problem with the spore drive. They use it, but their navigation goes to shit. Right. And that's why they appeared over a sun or star or whatever. Whoops. That was crazy. But I loved how Discovery warped out of there. Yeah. Like, I love the scene. Like, just the regular warp drive itself is really cool.
That in itself is great.
But I got lost with the creature, like, and I'll revisit it again, but they grew this creature, the Glen? Is that what they were saying? Or, because they were saying, like, the creature was, attracted to mushrooms or something.
Something like that.
The Glen didn't have a garden like Discovery had. And so, like, if anyone grew anything, it got attracted to that somewhat. Yeah. Cause I didn't
was a little confusing.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and revisit that. Yeah. But yeah, I was wondering if maybe one of the spores mutated and that's what that was. Right. But yeah, that device they found, it like hooks to the creature, Warp Dog, and it can navigate. But yeah, it's I don't think it shows pain until they go for it, right? Or something like that. So that's gonna be something. Well, actually, that's gonna put Michael and Lorca at odds because Michael is totally like, you know, she really.
This is my pet now.
It's like Spock and the whales, right? You know, they have that connection. She knows it. Oh, and that will be interesting if she does a mind meld,
right? Or can she do it? You know, being an Earthling.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. She probably can't. Right. Maybe Sarah can do the 1-800-COLLECT.
There you go.
Mind meld, which that was kind of a stretch, but I'll give it. That's something we didn't touch upon the last time, but I don't know if they can do a mind meld within a mind meld. But of course, he's still alive, so
Yeah,
he could just come on Discovery and see for himself
and find out. But yeah, I mean, I think the treatment of that creature is going to be a big plot line coming up.
Sure.
So
yeah, I'm digging it. It's every episode's been just another step up.
Right.
This one had a lot of action, so that was great.
Yeah.
The last one did too with the creature. Like, I like us traveling other places, and trying to think what else in this episode. Am I missing anything? Do you recall anything else?
I don't think so. But like you said, there's a lot of great action, but it still had some good character building moments, so it didn't feel like it was all action all the time,
Right.
In fact, if anything, the Klingon piece stretched a little bit for me just because of, the whole piece there, but
the reading.
Yeah, but the rest of it, I mean, it was a very, very solid episode.
Yeah, I thought so too. And of course, we didn't address the biggest thing, the last will and testament of Captain Giorgio, which was that was really cool. And Michael did not want that at first. She threw it underneath her bed, and Tilly, because Tilly was being nice. She's like, "Oh, hey, I got this package for you. You're in the shower." So yeah, Tilly didn't like that at first, but or I'm sorry,
Michael.
Michael. Tilly later encouraged her. I love this Tilly character. I really hope she better live for a while.
Right.
I'm not going to be happy if something
They're very
happens.
Game of Thrones with her.
She needs to be captain,
so far.
like she said she's going to. Yeah. But I like how she talked Michael into looking at that last will and testament, and then she left the room knowing, like, she probably had, she knew that she got to Michael, and Michael was going to do exactly that. And of course,
leave her alone to get it done.
Yeah. And we get the hologram of Michelle Yeoh, and she leaves her the telescope.
Yeah.
Now, is that the same one that's in the Shinzu?
It is.
Who took that? Because, they didn't expect her to die. So I'm just wondering who's in charge of the
is it then? Huh.
Yeah, because I was like,
maybe it isn't.
Well, the one they used on the Shinzu did look old, and it could have been handed down. But I'm like, who's in charge of the will department? Like, oh, she needs this to go to her.
Yeah. So we're getting destroyed. I don't think that
right.
happened, so.
I gotta box this up really quick. Or maybe she did it before she left on the away mission, knowing that she might not come back.
Maybe, but
it's a stretch. It didn't feel like they had enough time to really think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just assume it's a different.
It's a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about her uniform getting made.
Yeah.
That was a great intro. I was like, oh, we're in some kind of planet with a huge storm.
Yeah.
No, it's her uniform being made through the, whatever you call it, replicator. Or... That was really cool.
That was pretty sweet.
It was like, ding, done. Science officer, no rank. So, yeah, I kind of want her to get that, her badge.
Yeah, she will eventually, I think.
I'm sure. She'll have to earn it, but yeah.
I mean, I think, our rebel captain is going to make her first officer at some point.
So Saru's going to either die or...
and so then we're going to continue to see that relationship have some tension,
Right. Maybe she'll turn it down, because she is probably mainly a science officer, like her intelligence. But again, he was a science officer too.
And she has already started to reprove herself again to be insanely valuable. So,
could you ever hear the phrase number 2 and not laugh? Because because it's like, oh, I just thought maybe he could have 2 first officers.
Yeah.
Number
1 and number 2.
Yeah.
It takes number 2 a little bit longer.
Yeah.
To get the job done.
Who's going to fight for 2?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the whole thing. I don't know if I miss anything. We gotta look at the next episode, which looks really terrific.
Yeah.
Lorca gets captured by the Klingons, and they torture him, and they put a device in his eyes.
So it'll be interesting to see how we get out of that one.
It looks like it's gonna be action packed. Yeah. I think there's a scene where he slams down on the floor of their ship. I take it, and he's like firing a phaser at him. Have you seen After Trek yet?
Not yet.
Which is on CBS All Access. I recommend checking it out. Gives you a full insight of the show. The last episode had Jason Patrick on. Is that his name, Jason Patrick? So am I saying it wrong?
I don't know.
The guy who plays Captain Lorca. I think it's Jason Patrick's. Forgive me if I'm wrong. They had Doug Jones on there. Doug Jones brought his boots on there to show how he has to walk in Saru's shoes, which has no heel. It's like a hoof. And it's really interesting, and he explained how he got the walk. And Doug Jones is a really animated character. Yeah. He's quite something. And they interviewed the security lady who got killed, and Yeah, they were like, if you could rewrite your last words, what would they be? And she goes, my bad.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, I'm digging it. Check out After Trek. I think you'll love it for sure.
Yeah.
They even show clips of the next episode. So there's a good scene between Captain Lorca and the Admiral lady they introduced in this show. She's like, he's doing something with his eyes because he has that eye thing. And she goes, will you just fix your damn eyes? It was funny. So she must have heard you.
Right. Captain Dark Eyes.
But yeah, we'll be back next week with episode 5. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
Live long and prosper, and 2 to beam up.
That's it.
See ya.